They said we landed on the moon in 1969. But what if the greatest leap for mankind was actually a giant lie? On July 20th, 1969, the world watched as Neil Armstrong became the first human to step onto the surface of the moon. His famous words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," echoed across the globe. But lurking in the shadows of this triumph is a persistent conspiracy theory. Was the moon landing faked? For decades, skeptics have argued that the Apollo 11 mission and the 5 subsequent crewed landings were elaborate hoaxes staged by NASA. They claim the footage was filmed on a soundstage, the astronauts never went beyond Earth, and that the US faked it all to win the space race against the Soviet Union. But how do these theories hold up when we examine the evidence? Let's break down the main arguments brought up by conspiracy theorists. 1. Odd shadows and lighting. Conspiracy theorists often point to the photos taken on the moon, arguing that the shadows fall at strange angles, or that multiple light sources must have been used, suggesting a Hollywood set with stage lighting. 2. No stars in the sky. Why are there no stars in the backgrounds of the photos? Skeptics claim that a real moon sky should be filled with stars since there's no atmosphere. 3. The waving flag. The American flag planted by the astronauts appears to ripple as if blown by wind, a physical impossibility in the airless vacuum of space. 4. Identical backgrounds. Some point out that images from different landing sites appear to have matching hills and backgrounds, implying a reused backdrop. 5. Lack of blast craters. Photos show the lunar module on the surface with no visible blast crater under its engine. Wouldn't the rocket have kicked up or melted the soil? Let's tackle each claim with scientific reasoning and evidence. Shadows and lighting. On the moon, sunlight is extremely harsh and direct. The surface of the moon is also very reflective. Light bounces off rocks and dust, illuminating shadows. Non-parallel shadows are a result of the uneven lunar terrain and the angle of the sun, just as on Earth. Try observing shadows on a bumpy sidewalk. You'll see similar effects. A single light source, the sun, combined with an unlevel surface creates those strange shadows. No stars in photos. Astronauts used cameras set to short exposure times and small apertures to properly capture the brightly lit lunar surface. Stars are much dimmer than the sunlit moon terrain, so they don't register in the photos. Even photographers on Earth know this. Take a daylight photo in the countryside and stars won't appear either. The waving flag. The flag wasn't waving, there's no wind on the moon. NASA gave the flag a horizontal support bar to hold it out. When astronauts planted and twisted the pole into the lunar surface, the fabric moved and continued to wave due to inertia in the low gravity. No air resistance to stop it quickly. The flag's ripples stayed after astronauts let go, looking like a permanent flutter. Matching backgrounds. The landscapes on the moon can appear deceptively similar due to a lack of atmosphere and the distant horizon. In some Apollo images, mountains and hills far away may look closer or repeat due to camera angles and the terrain. Different photos with similar backgrounds can be explained simply as shots taken near each other, or from slightly different positions on the same landing site. No blast crater. The lunar module's descent engine was throttled very low for the last part of the landing to avoid kicking up dust and damaging the hardware. The moon's surface is tough, not loose or sandy. Instead of a large crater, only a slight disturbance, and dust scooted away, shows in the photos. Several videos and photos clearly show dust being blown away as the module lands, matching astronaut accounts. Let's flip the script. What actual scientific and physical evidence do we have that the moon landings happened? The moon rocks. Over 382 kilograms, 840 pounds of lunar rock, core, pebbles, and dust were collected and brought back to Earth from 6 missions. These rocks are distinct from anything on Earth. They lack water, show evidence of exposure to cosmic rays and solar wind, and have unique isotope ratios. Researchers worldwide have studied these samples. Faking them would be virtually impossible. Retroreflectors on the moon. Apollo 11, 14, and 15 crews placed special mirrors, known as retroreflectors, on the surface. Even today, scientists fire lasers at these reflectors and measure the time it takes the beam to return, calculating the exact distance to the moon. The results are measurable and repeatable by anyone with the right equipment. Thousands of people involved. More than 400,000 engineers, scientists, and technicians worked on the Apollo program. Faking the entire effort and keeping everyone quiet for over 50 years strains credulity. Third-party confirmation. The Soviet Union was monitoring U.S. space missions closely. At the height of the Cold War, if the landings were faked, the USSR would almost certainly have exposed it. Radio amateurs and astronomers worldwide tracked the missions in real time. Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter Images. NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, LRO, has photographed the Apollo landing sites in high detail from lunar orbit, showing lander bases, tracks left by astronauts, and abandoned equipment. Anyone can view these images today. Why do people still believe the moon landing was faked? Psychologists say conspiracy theories thrive when there's distrust in government or institutions, or when events seem too extraordinary to be true. For some, it's simply easier to believe in a cover-up than in the amazing feat of sending people to the moon and back. But the evidence, physical, scientific, and historical, is overwhelming. Every claim made by moon landing deniers has been addressed and debunked by experts. So did we fake the moon landing? The answer is clear, absolutely not. The Apollo missions were real, historic achievements backed up by mountains of evidence. But questioning big events and seeking proof is a healthy way to learn about the world. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more fact checks and mysteries explained, hit follow. Drop your thoughts or next topic ideas in the comments.